is life. Yes. So intoxicated, man. You don't know why you do this.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Life of a Car Guy podcast. I'm your host, Pete the Car Guy. Thank y'all so much for joining me on another lovely Saturday. Ain't too much sun out today, but that's all right. We're going to brighten it up in here for you. So you know how we launch this thing off with the What's Going On segment. Talk to me so you can see. Oh, what's going on? 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 Oh, man, I can't get enough of that. All right, guys. Hey, we are ready to go. Take the Wheel 3 is happening today. At the conclusion of this podcast, I will be hitting the road to visit my good friend, one of my best friends growing up, Jarvis Atkins, up in Virginia Beach. Jarvis is an avid car lover and a car collector, and he has a few vehicles we're going to check out, specifically the 2017 Corvette C7. And we're also going to check out the Dodge Viper. This was a mid to late 90s that he found and restored and put work in. And we hope to be able to test drive it today. We will see. Depends on what the weather's like up there. I know it's been a little dreary throughout the day here in Virginia. So hopefully the rain will kind of bypass us and we'll be able to take it out. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So I can't wait to do that with you guys. Also, kind of let you know, we have put some investments in to the equipment and we've upgraded some things. I can't wait to get those going probably within the next couple of weeks, including actually upgraded to an Insta360 camera. So hopefully we'll be able to do this on the test drive. If we do a test drive, I'll try to have it mounted on the vehicle, and maybe we can kind of talk about the vehicle as we're driving around. We'll see how it works. I know the Viper is pretty loud, so I'm hoping that the speaker will pick up from what we are trying to kind of converse about and everything. So we'll see how that works. We're going to give it a shot either way. All right. So continue to check out the website, guys, www.lifeofacarguy.com. Continue to check out the blogs, read, like, and comment, and the latter. So greatly appreciate that. All right, guys, industry streets news. So this is a collaborative effort. Kind of found this out late last night, early this morning. So Automotive News and USA Today reported that Ford Motor Company is bringing back their employee pricing for everyone that is interested in purchasing a vehicle between new 2025 and 2026 vehicle models. That's not just Ford, that's also the luxury brand Lincoln as well. This is to commemorate the 250-year anniversary of this country's independence. And behind that is Ford just wanted to say thank you for everyone who has contributed to their brand and to their vehicles over so many years. And it's a wonderful thing, in my opinion. Kind of goes along with the values in terms of, kind of speaking to the spirit of independence and rooted in the belief that, hard work, dedication, looking out for one another. So Ford is just thanking everyone and trying to kind of put an injection into the sales for this summer for that. So the program actually launched on May 1st, and it's going to run through July 6th. And it is on select 2025 and 26 vehicle models. And I think it's a wonderful thing. What kind of reminds me of this, back when I was, selling cars around mid 2008, 2009, I remember that we had the big housing crisis and the bubble kind of burst on the housing market, which really affected a whole lot of things, especially the auto industry. And back around that time, the big three automakers, Ford, Chevy, and Dodge Chrysler, they all kind of were really reeling. And I remember the government offered some bailout assistance. And I think, if I remember correctly, I know Ford was kind of trying not to do that. And what they did, in addition to the cash for clunkers, across all automotive lines, they instilled the employee pricing model. And with that, everyone who was interested in a Ford or Lincoln were able to purchase it at the employee price setup. They call this the A plan, employee pricing, and I think it's a part of just giving everybody an opportunity to receive the same price that their employees get. So I think it's a wonderful thing, and I'm looking forward to see how that goes. Hopefully, that will stem the tide with respect to gas prices continuing to go up. So hopefully, we'll see some relief on that soon. That would be wonderful for everyone. But at any rate, we'll see how that goes for the employee pricing for Ford. So, topic of discussion today, we're going to close this segment out. This is number 5 of the car buying process, and I call this one post-op. Okay, so basically, kind of synonymous with coming out of surgery, and you getting instructions on what to do. So this is the same thing with your automobile. All right. So just kind of a quick recap. The first 4 topics that we went over were the recon, research, and review of a potential option. And then, of course, pre-finance was the second one. Third one was the first date or the test drive. And of course, last week we did the transaction time negotiation. So definitely looking forward to going over this one with you. Got several topics to cover and some tips and pointers I've learned over the years as well, too. So with the post-op, one of the things you definitely want to do before completing the paperwork and receiving the vehicle is understand once again what the return policy is and what that covers. All right. So give you a case in point, you purchased a vehicle, it might be day 2, day 3. And maybe you notice some things about the vehicle that you didn't notice originally on the test drive. Like say if there were some mechanical concerns, or maybe something's not working, or maybe the vehicle doesn't feel as well as you thought it would. Sometimes when we're doing a test drive, maybe 20, 30 minutes, even if an option is available to do an overnight test drive, sometimes we don't always get the fit and feel of a vehicle. So, we want to make sure that the return policy covers those kinds of situations. And, sometimes, we get buyer's remorse. Okay. And we want to make sure that what we purchase is, what we wanted in the first place. And if we're sitting out looking at the vehicle in our garage or in our driveway or out on the street, and we don't get to really have that same feeling that we had when we first bought it. So, we want to make sure that it's the right fit, right? So that's why I tell all of my clients when I was selling cars, just make sure you get a full ream of it, test it out, and make sure this is the right fit. And if it isn't, have an understanding of what is covered on that return policy, be it mechanical or electronic, or just aesthetically pleasing or fit and feel. All right. Now, with respect to the mechanical review, so this pertains mostly to pre-owned cars, used cars. If you've worked out a situation where you want your mechanic or an independent review of your vehicle to be done after the point of purchase, just make sure that is done within the return policy timeframe. This is very important because if something is found on the vehicle that isn't right, that needs to be repaired or needs to be documented or whatever, you want to be able to do it within that time frame in the event if it's something that's very uncomfortable for you that you don't want to keep the vehicle for, or if it's a major, major expense and you don't want to be stuck with the repair. So that's very important that you do that during the return policy period. Now, let's say you take your vehicle to your independent mechanic, and let's say several things are found that need to be repaired. My professional opinion, okay, and I've seen this backfire on a lot of different people within a lot of different dealerships that I work for. Ask the dealer first. Let them know what's going on for several reasons. Number one, you don't want to pay for a repair on something that the dealer may or may not reimburse you for. That's one. Sometimes what may happen is your mechanic may find things that need to be done that aren't necessarily covered under the original warranty coverage or repair time period, and you end up fitting the bill for yourself. That's not a great feeling. I've seen that happen to clients. And I tried to let them know that if you find something, let us know first. And typically the dealer may just fix it for you without you having to do it. And there are times where the dealer may just say, go ahead, they authorize the repair at your shop, and you just need to bring proof of what was done and a receipt of the charges so that they can reimburse you. So sometimes that can happen, depends on the dealer and the circumstance. But I would always recommend, if you're doing a mechanical review and something is found out, let the dealer know first before you do anything else. All right. That way you're not fitting the cost for something you won't be reimbursed for. Now, as far as warranty and coverage, sometimes what dealers will do is they'll have like a dealer coverage option that covers you for like 90 days or however many miles, just to kind of give you an example. So if something is found out, just kind of know what that is and what takes place in that, where you need to go, and what kind of things are offered. So a lot of times, let's say if something does happen post-op that needs to be repaired, and this is your only vehicle, you want to make sure that the dealer has some kind of offering for some kind of temporary vehicle that you can drive, or a loaner or something, or maybe they might reimburse you if you have to get a rental car. Have that clear understanding up front so that you will know what to expect if in the event that something does need to be repaired on the vehicle. I have had situations where clients only had one vehicle, didn't have any other payment options. Sometimes a dealer may reimburse you for Uber costs or Lyft costs if that's a concern. But those are things I would kind of have a clear understanding as well too prior to the final purchase. But just make sure that you're aware of those options right up front. Okay. With additional add-ons like extended service plans and gap coverages, we covered this on the last segment of the negotiation piece. Have a clear understanding of what is covered under the extended service plan specifically. Typically, what will happen is that you'll have like a dealer coverage that is for like the first 30 to 90 days, give you an example. And then after that period, that's when the extended service plan will cover whatever's left. Typically, it's kind of like a three stage level of coverage. For example, let's say you have the dealer coverage for the first 90 days. That's layer one. Layer two would be like whatever's left on the manufacturer warranty. Sometimes you have a little bit of that left. That's level two. Within those first two levels, typically you're not having to pay any kind of out-of-pocket expense like a deductible or anything. That just depends on where you go for the repairs and the coverage. And then the last layer of coverage would obviously be the extended service plan. So just have a clear understanding of what's covered and what isn't. Typically, with extended service plans, cosmetic repairs are not going to be covered. So say, for example, you're in the parking lot, somebody dings your car, or heaven forbid, you hit a pothole and a tire ruptures. Or one that's a classic and most common is that you're driving down the highway and a rock hits up on your windshield and it causes a chip and then a split or a crack. So typically those are aesthetic options. Sometimes a dealer will offer some coverage for that, like a dentless paint repair. Paintless dent repair, or tire and wheel coverage. And sometimes they'll offer a coverage for your windshield. Just depends. If you're one that rather would have the coverage and not have to worry about paying a major out-of-pocket expense or even go through your insurance, I would definitely look at those options just to kind of protect yourself. Okay. The only thing is that, with those options, we just don't know about the unknown, right? So it just protects you in the event of something happening. Now, as far as gap insurance, heaven forbid, let's say if you have a major accident and the vehicle is totaled or whatever, you want to make sure you have a clear understanding of the gap coverage if you have it. And just a quick refresher, gap coverage is only given for financed vehicles, not cash vehicles, obviously. And what it does is it covers the difference between the loan value and the actual cash value. We touched on that on the last podcast last week. For further detail on that, check that out. Go back and review because I went over that in a lot of detail. This one, most people don't think about very often, and this is about your document copies. So if you do have an extended warranty or gap coverage or any other coverages, What I have recommended in the past is for my clients to make copies of their documents. Keep one in your house or your home or wherever you feel like it's safe, and keep another copy in your glove box in your vehicle. So typically, sometimes we just put the documents in our glove box anyway, and we kind of forget about them. But I always recommend making a copy to keep in your home and keep in the vehicle in the event that something happens. So a lot of times what may happen is your vehicle may be towed from a location, and in the midst of all the chaos and confusion, you may forget about some things. So just keep a copy always in the car. And if a repair needs to be made or if something needs to be done, you know exactly where it is, and wherever shop that your vehicle is getting repaired, or if it's getting a total loss, they'll be able to have those documents in your vehicle at that present time. Okay. So food for thought there. Another part of the post op is the maintenance and upkeep. Now, this one, it kind of covers a wide gamut of things with respect to not just the normal services, but the types of fluids that you need to do with your vehicle. Typically, I would lean on your mechanic or the location where you service. Also, if you haven't already done so in terms of research, definitely check out options online. Typically, you can do any kind of Google search or any kind of AI search to verify the oil type and the gas type that you need to put in your vehicle, as well as recommended service intervals. Now, typically, what's happened over the years is automakers have been putting the oil type and weight on the actual oil cap underneath the hood. So if you don't remember, and let's say you buy a pre-owned vehicle that doesn't have a owner's manual, I would definitely check under the hood. Typically, it's right there, very visible on the oil cap. That's a great kind of thing to kind of remember in case you don't know what type of oil to put in the vehicle. For the gas, normally when you pop open your gas tank, the gas type is written on the inside and posted on the inside of the gas fuel area. So that will help you to remember that too. One other little tidbit and segment, when you're looking on your dash and you're trying to figure out what side your gas is on, your gas tank is on, typically where the little monitor, fuel monitor is, if you see an arrow pointing which way, either right or left, that typically means that's the side of where your gas is going to be. So this is a little quick segment on that. Sometimes people forget that. So I had plenty of customers that had forgotten about that, and I kind of reminded them, but it's just a little thing to remember. As far as the oil and service intervals, have a clear understanding with that. Generally, for most four-cylinder vehicles, they typically do not have a timing belt. It's a timing chain. That's an option that kind of keeps you from having to do on a major service around the 90 to 110,000 mile odometer reading. With the four cylinders, they typically are around every 5,000 mile intervals for oil changes. Depending on the type of vehicles, I've known some German vehicles like Audi, Mercedes, BMW, sometimes they can go up to a 10,000 mile interval. For tire rotation, alignment, and balance, what I typically recommend, if your vehicle is 5,000 miles on the oil change interval, I would recommend doing a tire alignment and balance and swapping, rotation rather, every other oil change. So, for example, if it's 5,000 miles for the oil change, do it on the 10,000 mile interval. Sometimes you can do it on the five, depending on how you drive. Depends on your mechanic recommendation, but that's just a typical rule of thumb. For six-cylinder vehicles and above, those are timing belts, and typically will have a shorter interval. Sometimes they're 3,500, sometimes 4,000, sometimes they can be 5,000 too. But just be aware of that and kind of follow the guidelines with your mechanic and everything on that. Because there are timing belts on those vehicles, they do require the major service between the 90,000 mile and 110,000 mile odometer reading. So just be aware of that and understand what goes into that as well. Okay. Now, with respect to service options, This one is kind of big. I get a lot of questions from a lot of clients, past and present, that have asked me, where do I go to service my vehicle? So it really depends. If you already have a mechanic that services vehicles that you've owned and you feel comfortable with them and you want to continue with them, feel free. I mean, there's no exact science to this. If it's a new type of vehicle that your mechanic may or may not service, or maybe you don't have a mechanic, typically dealers will offer service packages as well as recommendations, and it's great because you can kind of keep everything under one house. Typically, with service records, now everything is digital, so a lot of things will be kept at your location where you go. I normally like to ask for copies, and I keep a separate folder for all of my service information and all my service intervals when I do them. And that way, I just kind of keep a log of it. So if I decide to sell my vehicle, I have that information to pass on to the next person that wants to buy the vehicle, or the next place that I'm selling the vehicle to. Some places may or may not need your service records. Some of them may not take them for privacy reasons because your information is on there, like your name, your address, phone number, things like that. So just kind of be aware of that. If they don't take them, it's nothing personal. They just don't want to have that hassle to pass on your personal information for privacy reasons. With regards to what to do as far as like dealer versus your own option or trying to find something independent, online reviews are a great resource. So if you find something, check out their Google or Yelp reviews and just see how they stand with everything. And also, word of mouth is one of the best ways of communicating and asking about where to go. So if you have someone or you know someone that has a vehicle like yours and they have a mechanic that they go to, ask them about their mechanic, see what they will tell you. If they're a great mechanic and they, recommend them, by all means, check them out. Okay. Last one. This one doesn't come up as often, but it does in certain time frames. Aftermarket additions and installations. This one's always fun. So, especially if you're purchasing an older vehicle that may or may not have certain options that you want, or let's say if you want to do some upgrades to your vehicle that aren't from the manufacturer, I would be careful with this one, only because there are certain things that might void your manufacturer warranty that's left or the extended warranty that you have on your vehicle. And those options would typically include like an engine swap or a transmission change, anything that changes the structural integrity of the vehicle. Like if you lower the vehicle, you change the shocks and springs and whatever. Those kinds of things can typically void the warranty. So just be mindful of that. If you know and you're aware of it and you know the risk and everything and you still do it, just kind of be aware of what's going to void the warranty coverage. Typically, accessories that are added to your vehicle, like Bluetooth, or if you do like a cold air intake, for performance reasons, or if you want to add accessories on the outside of the vehicle, like a spoiler or swap the wheels or anything like that, those typically don't void the manufacturer coverage. Typically, when you do purchase aftermarket editions, they may come with their own separate warranty coverage as well. So just kind of go over the details in that and just kind of compare to make sure whatever you do does not affect the integrity of the vehicle. All right. All right, guys. So that does it for the car buying process. That concludes it for this time. Thank you guys very much for hanging out with me for that. I really hope that all this really helps you. One of the things that I'm going to do to expand on this, and I kind of touched on this last time, is create the Car Guy Academy on the website. So I'm going to have 3 separate segments that kind of go for people who are interested in buying cars, people who want to sell their cars, and also aspiring sales consultants who want to learn the business. I'm going to have that as an academy that's built into the website. So that will be subscription based. And I can't wait to share that and get that going with you guys. I think that's going to be a wonderful thing. But at any rate, just kind of going over that, that's going to be fun. Hopefully we'll get that up soon. I'd like to get it done before the end of the year, but we'll see what happens. All right, guys, we're at the Drop a Dime segment now. And this one comes from our Take the Wheel episode 3 interviewee, Mr. Jarvis Atkins. Jarvis asked, why do I still need to talk to the finance manager if I'm paying cash? That's a great question. Basically, it's going to be dependent upon how the dealer location or wherever you're buying the vehicle is set up. For the smaller locations where the sales consultant is the one-stop shop, he's your test driver, he's your paperwork guy, and he's the one that's getting your vehicle prepped and everything. More than likely, that person will be the one to do everything all at one-stop shop. There are dealerships now that have relegated the responsibilities of paperwork to the sales consultants. But because of conflict of interest and just kind of managing the funds and managing money, they still have to have you report to either a finance office or a finance person that is authorized and licensed to handle your funds. So if you are paying cash and you're doing that, there still may be a separate department that takes care of that. It's to protect you, protect the integrity of the company and the business, as well as kind of alleviate any conflict of interest situations. Also, typically for post-purchase options, when you go back to see the finance guy or the finance manager, they may do an introduction of certain options that can be purchased in addition with the vehicle. That can be the extended service plan, gap coverage, tire and wheel, key replacement, and what have you. So at that time, they're waiting to go over those options with you before they take the final payment. And that's at that time that they will do that. And sometimes that does need to be separated just for conflict of interest needs as well, too. So hopefully that'll help you out there, Jarvis, next time you pay cash for your vehicle. It's a blessing to be able to do that. And, for those that are financing and everything, hey, no sweat. I'm praying that one day you'll be in that position to just be like, you know what, I don't need no financing options. Let me write you a check. So it's a great, great gratifying feeling to do that and to know that your title is in the mail within the next 30 to 45 days. So, but anyway. All right, guys. For the Drop a Dime segment, continue to drop a dime on my email at thelifeofacarguy@gmail.com. Once again, that is thelifeofacarguy@gmail.com. All right. We're almost at the end here. Quick announcements. This month, I'm going to be working on getting the apparel going. So I'm going to have a logo shirt and a logo hat with the website up here and maybe some what do you call QR codes, maybe on the sleeve or on the back or something. Hope to get those done this month and kind of present a couple of options to you guys so you can see. Can't wait for that. That's going to be great. One of the things I was thinking about going to the races like the Virginia International Raceway when they have it at the end of August. I want to be able to represent us at the race, and I want to have my logoed shirts and everything. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be fun. And also, I can't wait to show the new equipment. Hopefully, the quality is going to be much better now. I've definitely put in some funds and invested into that. So definitely want to further this out and make it a better video experience and a one-on-one experience with all of you. Okay. So, all right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and sign off now. Quick homework reminder. Please share this with five other people who haven't seen the podcast and the blog and the website. Let them know to subscribe to the YouTube channel, continue to like and comment. Oh, one thing I wanted to let you guys know, there was a feature on YouTube that was keeping people from putting in comments. And that's because I made it for kids. I was not aware of that because I wanted to be for everybody. But that feature takes away the comment option. So from now on, I'm going to select not made for kids. But please keep in mind, if young people want to watch this, they can, because this is going to be very G-rated. A little bit of PG maybe, but nothing bad. So even though it is selected not made for kids, kids and anyone are still welcome for this. And that's a great segue to this thing of ours, because I want this to be for everyone and anyone that wants to learn about cars, talk about cars, and just kind of just have enjoyment with cars. Okay. All right, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I appreciate you riding with me. I want to say praise God because without him, I cannot do anything. And because I trust him, I always say he's got the wheel. And even though we may not like and agree with one another, it's important to still show respect and continue to love and respect one another. Okay. Thank you so much for checking me out once again. Stay up, and I'll see you guys later on this afternoon. Looking forward to that.